Our politics is becoming more contested. We saw this in 2011, and it played out again in GE 2020. The desire for greater diversity was clearly felt during the campaign. The opposition's call for more alternative voices resonated on the ground. Voters concerned about job security and the cost of living responded to calls for stronger checks and balances as the economic situation worsened. This is why efforts to play up fears of an opposition wipeout gained traction. This desire for greater diversity, for more checks and balances, is here to stay. Subsequent GEs will only get tougher. Opposition candidates will seek to deny us a two-thirds majority in Parliament and thereafter to displace us and form the government. The right to lead must be earned. We must continue to govern well and win the trust of our people. And we must be alert to what is at stake. Sharper contestation can easily spiral into unstable and divided politics. We've seen this happen in other countries, where political opportunists seek political gains in the extreme ends of issues by appealing to special interests. They focus on energizing their base, often at the expense of other segments of society. Instead of being honest about difficult trade-offs, they advocate unsustainable, easy way outs. Such polarization has not taken root in Singapore, but we are not immune to such pressures. Take globalization, for example. Singapore is a small economy with no natural resources. We thrive by being open to the world, and this is how we have attracted so many companies to set up operations here, creating good jobs for our people. At the same time, we invest significantly to bring out the best in our people, while complementing our small local workforce with foreigners to stay competitive. But this can quite easily be hijacked, especially during an economic recession. The openness that has fueled our progress can be used to exploit anxieties of our workers during downturns. Anti-foreigner sentiments can be easily stirred up. Such anxieties are understandable, but if we turn inwards, Singapore will spiral downwards. Beyond this, race, religion, and inequality are examples of fault lines that can greatly divide our society. With social media, differences can be more easily amplified and used to breed unhappiness or insecurity among different groups of Singaporeans. The PAP must therefore do what we can to resist such pressures. We must take an inclusive approach to serve all Singaporeans and not pit one group against another. If our unity is lost, Singapore will stumble. The pandemic has plunged us into the worst recession since independence. But we were able to mount a series of swift and decisive budgets without incurring a single cent of debt for future generations to pay. Not a single cent of debt. Because we were able to use $52 billion of past reserves left for us by our forefathers. Could we have built up these reserves if we had been a polarized society with a revolving door government? No. We would not have the firepower to save jobs and businesses or support families who need help. And it's not just government. Businesses, community groups, individuals played invaluable roles to contain the spread of the virus. If our society was polarized, we would not be able to work together to fight the virus. We are fully committed to our campaign promise, our lives, our jobs, our future. SecGen will speak more about how we will lead Singapore to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic and rebuild our economy. Our mission is clear. The PAP is here to secure Singapore's long-term success. Yes, GE 2020 matters very much, but for us, SG 100 and SG 200 matter even more. So beyond the immediate challenges, we must also look ahead to emerge stronger. We'll protect the interests of Singaporean workers and fight even harder to create opportunities for them to improve their lives. We'll strengthen social safety nets to support the vulnerable. We'll make sure that every Singaporean, regardless of starting point, continues to have a fair chance to do well to achieve excellence. This is hard work that will take significant effort, engagement, and resources. In a more turbulent and uncertain future, the PAP will need to work even harder to build consensus and create the political space for us to do the right thing for Singapore and Singaporeans. As a People's Action Party, we focus on taking action to get the right things done for the benefit of our people. This is our core strength that we must retain. And we must continue to win over the hearts and minds of every generation of Singaporeans. To do this more effectively, we have to evolve how we engage a changing electorate. For many Singaporeans, having a stake in Singapore today goes beyond the material. They want to have a stronger voice and greater involvement in nation building. This is valuable and we must harness it. As we learn from our Singapore conversation, deep engagement with our people help us to better understand their needs and concerns, their fears and aspirations. We are then able to translate their inputs into significant policy changes. As Singaporeans become better educated and well-traveled, we can better harness their ideas and energies to build our shared future together. This is why we launched the Singapore Together movement last year. Several months ago, we also started the Emerging Stronger conversations. I believe every Singaporean can make a difference. The party must fully embrace this spirit. I believe every party activist can make a difference. We must reach out to fellow Singaporeans, including those who may not share all our views, as long as they have the interests of Singapore and Singaporeans at heart. Where differences arise, we must find ways to engage them in an inclusive and constructive manner. Working closely and sincerely with fellow Singaporeans is how we will hold the ground and sustain trust in the PAP. So while we have a good mandate, we must remain humble and work together to win the support of our people, including those who did not vote for us. Strong ground engagement remains fundamental. In fact, face-to-face engagement has always been our strength. Singaporeans must see the PAP not just as a capable government, but as people they can relate to, whom they can trust. All divisions have met the people's sessions. Many divisions have also reached out in various ways, including doing mobile MPS walkabouts and visiting families with needs. Some activists have been doing house visits without their branch chairman to reach out to residents. As many of you observed, doing this outreach sincerely is an important way to show care and concern for our people across ages, races, and estates. And in this time of pandemic and recession, our activists must look out for residents who are affected and lend our support. Besides walking the ground, we must also engage our people to surface new ideas and find new ways to work together. In East Coast, we kickstarted the East Coast Conversations to engage our residents to work together on new initiatives. And I know other divisions are doing likewise. One division organized your volunteers with thematic discussions on issues like jobs, caring, and sustainability. I encourage all of us to share these ideas, to find new ways to engage our people, and to deepen understanding of our challenges as a country, as a nation, and the actions that we can take together. At the same time, we must complement our ground presence with stronger online outreach. Anecdotally, some voters were responding to how opposition parties portrayed themselves online, more so than what they stood for and what they could do. The impact of social media will only increase with time as the world becomes more digital. As experiences elsewhere and in Singapore show, bad news and negative spin travel faster and further. Solid facts and figures are seen as stodgy. Substance is essential, but we must strive to master the new medium. We must have a stronger online presence. It will take experimentation and imagination to adapt our content and messaging in new ways. It will also take time. We have been improving, but we must do more and faster.